They told you freedom was yours, but they handed you chains the moment you were born. Not iron, not steel, but something far stronger, expectation. They told you how to live, who to be, what to want. They called it love. They called it tradition, but it was conditioning, plain and simple. You were taught to be useful before you learned to be powerful, to please before you learned to think, and long before you discovered what you needed, they convinced you that your value came from serving the needs of others. Smile, be polite, give more than you take, make yourself available, make yourself humble, make yourself small, and if you resisted even silently, they told you that you were broken, that something in you was wrong, selfish, cruel, dangerous. So you complied, you softened, you became palatable, and they applauded your decay. You thought you were maturing, but really you were disappearing. From childhood, they built a version of you that was easy to manage. One who didn't ask too many questions, one who carried burdens that didn't belong to you, one who apologized for taking up space. They dressed obedience as virtue. They painted over your instincts with shame. They praised your sacrifice while draining the life from you, and when you collapsed, they called it grace. But deep down something resisted, a flicker, a fracture, a quiet rage that didn't die, no matter how often you buried it. That was your real self, the one they couldn't tame, the one that didn't want to be loved for obedience but respected for power, and it's still there waiting, because the truth is, the world doesn't care how much you give. It only cares how much it can take. The more you offer freely, the more invisible you become. Generosity without boundaries becomes a curse, and kindness, when exploited, becomes weakness. They don't remember the one who bent backwards to help. They remember the one who stood tall and made others rise just to reach them. This is the game, and in this game, there are no medals for martyrs. There are only winners and tools. You were trained to be a tool. But tools get used and then discarded. The moment you stop being useful, they stop pretending to care. That's when you learn the difference between being loved and being needed. You've spent years bleeding for people who would never offer you a bandage. Years making yourself available to those who saw your time as free and your energy as endless. You said yes when your soul begged for no. You comforted others while your own mind screamed for peace. And the worst part? You thought this made you good, noble, strong, but strength is not measured by how much you endure. It's measured by how fiercely you protect your essence. You are not here to be consumed. You are not here to be reshaped into someone else's image. You are here to rise, and that requires clarity. The kind of clarity only selfishness can bring, not the kind that destroys, the kind that preserves, the kind that knows what to say no to and when, the kind that sees time as sacred and energy as currency, the kind that builds walls not out of cruelty but out of necessity, because anything unprotected will be exploited. That's a law, not an opinion. The powerful do not give endlessly, they give precisely. They give when it serves the mission, when it strengthens the foundation, when it multiplies, not when it depletes. You weren't taught that. You were taught to pour without limit, to give without condition, to love without return. And you wonder why you're empty. Selfishness, real selfishness, is not about stepping on others. It's about refusing to step on yourself. It's about understanding that if you don't prioritize your own life, someone else will use it to build theirs. If you don't choose your path, you'll end up on a leash chasing approval that was never meant to be yours. Approval is a currency for the weak. The strong don't seek it. They command respect by existing on their own terms. They don't chase, they attract. They don't apologize, they act. And they understand that every yes they say to others is a no to themselves, so they choose carefully. You think saying no makes you cold. But what's colder than betraying yourself just to be accepted? What's colder than swallowing your needs to satisfy people who wouldn't starve for you? You're not cold, you're waking up. You're finally seeing the game for what it is, a contest of clarity, a war of wills, and in that war, the one who hesitates loses. You have to become your own weapon, sharpened, aimed, unapologetic. That doesn't mean cruelty, that means control, and control begins where guilt ends. They told you guilt was a sign of conscience, but often, it's just the residue of manipulation. Guilt is the tool they use to keep you from stepping into your power. Guilt keeps you available, keeps you soft, keeps you tame, but you don't owe anyone your soft edges if they sharpen theirs against you. You don't owe loyalty to those who never invested in you. You don't owe kindness to those who confuse it for compliance. You are not a peacekeeper, you are not an emotional punching bag, you are not a therapist for the broken who refuse to heal. You are the architect of your own existence, and architects don't build palaces for free. You think being accessible makes you loved. It doesn't. It makes you ordinary. And nothing valuable is ordinary. No one fights for what's always available. They fight for what's scarce, for what feels earned, for what demands growth in order to be reached. That's what you must become: earned, not given, reserved, not exposed, rare. When you are everywhere, your power is nowhere. But when you withdraw, when you become intentional, the world takes notice. The ones who really care step forward. The leeches scatter. That's the beauty of distance. It reveals everything. Power doesn't shout, it doesn't beg. It whispers and the room goes silent. You must become that kind of presence. Not the loudest voice, but the most grounded one. Not the one who pleases, but the one who decides. And to do that, you must stop diluting your focus for people who won't even remember your name when you're no longer useful. You must stop investing in conversations that go nowhere, relationships that cost more than they give, routines that steal your fire instead of fueling it. Every moment is either construction or collapse. Every choice is an investment or a theft, and every yes you offer must be earned, not expected. You're not selfish for choosing your peace. You're strategic. You're not heartless for cutting off the ones who only show up with open hands. You're wise, and you're not cruel for disappearing from the lives of those who only love the version of you that served them. You're evolving. Evolution is not gentle. It sheds, it breaks, it separates. You cannot carry everyone into your future. Some people were never meant to be there. Some were sent to delay you, others to drain you. And once you recognize this, once you truly see who adds to your life and who just takes, you will never unsee it. You must become the guardian of your own energy, the ruthless protector of your own path, not out of bitterness, but out of vision. The future you're building requires more than kindness. It requires discipline, focus, fire, and that fire cannot survive in a life spent apologizing. So stop apologizing for wanting more, for needing space, for having standards. Stop cushioning your boundaries to make them easier to swallow. Let them choke, let them talk, let them walk. The ones who respect you will rise. The rest were just passengers on a ride they never helped fuel. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to be undeniable to the right few. You're here to become so unshakable, so exact in your purpose, that even your silence sends a message. That is power, not noise, not compliance, but presence. And presence is born in solitude, in silence, in the hard decisions no one claps for. So if they call you selfish, wear it like armor, because that word in their mouth means they can't use you anymore. It means they finally see that you've stopped bleeding for their comfort, that you've turned inward to your own fire, your own climb. And that climate's yours. No one else can make it for you. No one will hand you the summit. You either rise or you remain. You either build or you are used as material for someone else's construction. So build ruthlessly, unapologetically, quietly. Let your elevation be the only proof you ever offer. Let your life become the answer to every doubt, every insult, every guilt trip. You are not here to carry the weight of a world that won't lift you. You are here to create a world that reflects the force you are becoming, that requires decisions that make others uncomfortable. Let them be uncomfortable, let them adjust, or let them go, but you don't slow down. Be selfish with precision, with pride, with purpose, because the world won't give you power. But if you stop giving it away, you might just find it was in you all along. They told you that humility was a virtue, that lowering your gaze and softening your voice made you noble. But in truth, they feared your gaze, feared the fire in your voice. They taught you to suppress your instincts, to question your desires, to doubt your worth. They called it modesty, but it was a muzzle. They didn't want you to see your own power, because if you did, you might stop serving theirs. From the moment you could speak, they taught you to ask for permission, permission to dream, to act, to be. They made you believe that your aspirations needed validation, that your goals required approval. But the powerful never ask for permission. They take what's theirs. They understand that waiting for consent is a luxury of the weak. Every second spent seeking approval is a second lost in the pursuit of dominance. They told you that patience is a virtue, that good things come to those who wait. But in the realm of power, waiting is death. The world doesn't pause for the hesitant, it devours them. Opportunities are seized, not granted. The strong move with urgency, with purpose, with an unrelenting drive. They don't wait for doors to open, they break them down. They taught you to be grateful for what you have, to be content with your lot. But contentment is the enemy of progress. Gratitude, when weaponized, becomes a chain. They want you to be thankful for crumbs, so you never seek the feast. But the powerful are never satisfied. They are always hungry, always striving, always reaching for more, because they understand that growth is the only path to true power. They told you that anger is dangerous, that it must be controlled, suppressed, extinguished. But anger is not your enemy, it's your fuel. It's the fire that burns away complacency, that ignites action, that propels you forward. The powerful harness their anger, channel it, use it as a weapon. They don't fear their rage, they wield it. They said that pride comes before a fall, that arrogance is a sin. But pride is the recognition of your worth, the acknowledgement of your value. Arrogance, when grounded in truth, becomes confidence. The powerful are unapologetically proud. They don't downplay their achievements, they amplify them. They don't hide their strengths, they showcase them, because they know that visibility is power. They taught you to forgive and forget, to turn the other cheek. But forgiveness without accountability is weakness. Forgetting is erasure. The powerful remember every slight, every betrayal, every wound, not to dwell in pain, but to learn, to adapt, to fortify. They don't seek revenge, they seek justice. And they ensure that those who wronged them never forget. They told you that love conquers all, that it's the highest aspiration. But love, when unreciprocated, becomes a liability. The powerful love selectively, strategically. They don't give their hearts freely, they guard them, because they understand that vulnerability is a luxury they can't afford. They love those who elevate them, who challenge them, who stand beside them in the pursuit of greatness. They said that money isn't everything, that happiness can't be bought. But in a world where resources dictate freedom, money is power. It's the tool that builds empires, that opens doors, that commands respect. The powerful don't chase money for its own sake. They pursue it for what it represents: autonomy, influence, control. They taught you that knowledge is power, but they fed you lies. They curated your education, filtered your information, shaped your world, They gave you facts devoid of context, truths laced with deception. The powerful seek knowledge beyond the surface, question narratives, challenge doctrines. They understand that true knowledge is dangerous, and that's why it's guarded so fiercely. They told you that tradition is sacred, that the old ways are best. But tradition is often the cage that holds you back. It's the weight of dead men's expectations, the echo of outdated beliefs. The powerful respect the past, but are not bound by it. They forge new paths, create new paradigms, redefine what's possible. They said that family is everything, that blood is thicker than water, but loyalty should be earned, not assumed. The powerful choose their alliances based on merit, not lineage. They understand that shared DNA doesn't guarantee shared values. They surround themselves with those who align with their vision, who contribute to their ascent. They taught you that failure is shameful, that mistakes are to be hidden. But failure is the crucible of growth. It's where resilience is forged, where lessons are learned, where character is built. The powerful embrace failure, dissect it, learn from it. They wear their scars as badges of honor, not marks of disgrace. They told you that happiness is the goal, that pleasure is the path. But happiness is fleeting, pleasure is momentary. The powerful seek fulfillment, purpose, legacy. They understand that true satisfaction comes from achievement, from impact, from the realization of their potential. They said that peace is the ultimate aim, that conflict is to be avoided, but peace without power is vulnerability. The powerful are not afraid of conflict, they thrive in it. They understand that tension breeds innovation, that pressure creates diamonds. They don't seek comfort, they seek challenge. They taught you to be selfless, to put others first. But selflessness, when unchecked, leads to exploitation. The powerful prioritize themselves, not out of selfishness, but out of necessity. They understand that they can't pour from an empty cup, that their strength is the foundation upon which everything else is built. They told you to be humble, to downplay your achievements. But humility, when misapplied, becomes invisibility. The powerful own their successes, celebrate their victories, and let the world know their worth. They understand that recognition is not vanity, it's validation. They said that patience is a virtue, that good things come to those who wait. But waiting is passive. The powerful are proactive. They don't wait for opportunities, they create them. They don't hope for change, they drive it. They taught you to be kind, to be generous, to be giving. But kindness without boundaries is a weakness. The powerful are discerning in their generosity. They give when it aligns with their goals, when it strengthens their position, when it builds alliances. They told you that emotions are a sign of weakness, that stoicism is strength, but emotions are data. The powerful don't suppress their feelings, they analyze them. They use their emotions to inform their decisions, to understand their motivations, to connect with others. They said that dreams are for the young, that reality is harsh. But dreams are the blueprint of the future. The powerful never stop dreaming. They envision, they plan, they execute. They turn their dreams into reality through relentless action. They taught you to conform, to fit in, to follow the rules. But conformity is the enemy of greatness. The powerful break rules, challenge norms, disrupt systems. They understand that innovation comes from deviation, that progress requires rebellion. They told you that you can't change the world, that you're just one person, but every movement starts with one. The powerful believe in their ability to affect change, to influence others, to shape the future. They act with conviction, knowing that their actions ripple outward. They said that you should be realistic, that you should lower your expectations. But realism is often a mask for fear. The powerful set audacious goals, pursue impossible dreams, and defy expectations. They understand that the limits of possibility are often self-imposed. They taught you that security is paramount, that risk is dangerous, but security is an illusion. The powerful take calculated risks, embrace uncertainty, and venture into the unknown. They understand that growth lies outside the comfort zone. They told you that you're not special, that you're just like everyone else, but uniqueness is your strength. The powerful embrace their individuality, cultivate their distinctiveness, and stand out. They understand that blending in is the fastest path to mediocrity. They said that you should be grateful for what you have, that ambition is greed, but ambition is the engine of progress. The powerful are insatiable, always striving for more, always pushing boundaries. They understand that contentment breeds stagnation. They taught you that you need others to succeed, that collaboration is key. But dependence is dangerous. The powerful build networks, but they are self-reliant. They understand that alliances are strategic, not essential. They told you that you should be happy with small wins, that incremental progress is enough, but the powerful aim for quantum leaps. They understand that transformative change requires bold action, not timid steps. They said that you should avoid conflict, that harmony is ideal, but conflict is a catalyst. The powerful engage in healthy conflict, challenge ideas, and confront issues head on. They understand that tension can lead to breakthroughs. They taught you that you should always be available, always say yes, but availability is a trap. The powerful guard their time, set boundaries, and say no. They understand that their time is their most valuable asset. They told you that you should be modest, that bragging is unbecoming, but self-promotion is necessary. The powerful market themselves, share their successes, and build their brand. They understand that visibility leads to opportunity. They said that you should be loyal, that you should never burn bridges, but loyalty should be reciprocal. The powerful are loyal to those who are loyal to them. They understand that blind loyalty is a liability. They taught you that you should avoid making waves, that you should keep your head down, but the powerful make waves, stir the pot, and challenge the status quo. They understand that disruption leads to innovation. They told you that you should be cautious, that you should avoid mistakes, but mistakes are inevitable. The powerful take action, learn from their errors, and adapt. They understand that perfection is the enemy of progress. They said that you should be agreeable, that you should avoid confrontation, but the powerful are assertive. They speak their minds, stand their ground, and defend their positions. They understand that assertiveness is necessary for leadership. They taught you that you should be empathetic, that you should feel others' pain, but empathy without boundaries leads to burnout. The powerful practice compassionate detachment. They care, but they don't carry others' burdens. They told you that you should be consistent, that you should stick to the plan, but rigidity is a weakness. The powerful are adaptable, flexible, and responsive. They understand that change is constant and adaptability is key. They said that you should be polite, that you should avoid offending others. But politeness can be a mask for passivity. The powerful are respectful, but they don't shy away from difficult conversations. They understand that honesty is more important than comfort. They taught you that you should be patient, that good things take time, but patience without action is procrastination. The powerful take initiative, move quickly, and seize opportunities. They understand that time is a non-renewable resource.